Well, it started back then in 1981 because we sort of formed the club and we needed to manifest an event. We were in the middle of two contests, one in Sydney and one in Victoria, and all the contestants from international turned up, and our contest was on the road and up and running, and then they all started to realise that we were actually running the best contest. And so the other ones dropped out, and we became the first and the best and the longest running contest of our sort. And now we've got we are the world's longest running contest continuously, yeah.
Yeah, well, so we might get 200 competitors, but they might bring, you know, 2 or 3, a family of 3 or 4 or whatever, so that probably brings about 1,000 people into the town just for the event. You know, we talk to the clubs and the pubs, the venues after, and they've had best takings ever, better than New Year's Eve, these sorts of comments, but the place was sort of swelling to the bursting point, and it just didn't quite burst. You'll see a lot of locals will come along tomorrow night for the food and the music, and also during the day to watch it, as well as check out all our sponsors' gear. You know, like the sponsors have got their tents set up, and you know, we don't have, you know, the big shops or retail shops for the sailing or windsurfing or kite surfing or SUP gear.
From an industry point of view, it's really expensive to do this. It's 4 days. We normally end up spending 6 days here, the day before and the day after, because you want to give it your all. But you know, you're driving down, you've got accommodation, you've got staff, you've got wages, and none of these guys flinch, none of these brands flinch. And I've really got to put it, you know, obviously out to my boss, but also to all these guys, is that the investment in this event from our side of things is huge, but it only resonates how effective and how big this event is, because it's probably the only event, if not in Australia, probably the world, that gets this much support from the local hands-on industry, which I think is a really big telltale sign of how cool it is.
Yeah, so all our prizes get donated. You know, we've always had a really good bunch of sponsors that provide us with prizes. They're often allocated to people that aren't sponsored and are up and coming or young and looking like they, you know, need a new kite. It's the start of summer, halfway between Sydney and Melbourne and Canberra, so it's sort of in the middle of the population centre everywhere, so it's a good way to sort of showcase the gear that's, you know, brand new for this season.
A lot of the champions cut their teeth here, so to speak. Guys come here and they experience not only exceptional riding and exceptional conditions and the latest and greatest, but they also experience diversity and out of competition experiences with top athletes and the older guys, you know, like the veterans of the sport and the guys that have been there, done that, and you learn so much from coming to this event outside of just that structured, professionalised riding. And I know I came here before winning a national title for kiteboarding in Australia, and then going, you know, competing overseas with kiting.
It's just the generosity of people that have joined us and help us, and they love us and we love them, and it's just a celebration of how people can work together, and that's where I get almost the most enjoyment